It's easy, so very easy to feel like God isn't there. Like the lights have gone out and you're completely in the dark. But He is. It's easy for two reasons, and there are two reasons we must always keep in mind when we feel like the lights have gone out. The first reason is what He is. Because all of creation, everything we interact with, everything around us, and we ourselves, it's all essentially code, written and executed using His own being and energy. Without His being and presence, we do not exist and cannot exist independently from His existence. As a result, we cannot distinguish Him physically, for lack of a better word, from everything else. We cannot distinguish or detect Him using our five senses. He is both omnipresent and infinite. There is and can be nowhere that He is not or does not exist. Because everywhere in space and time, every dimension, every particle of matter or transmitter of energy depends upon His existence for their own. The second reason is ourselves. Because of our own inherent malfunction, the fear which dominates and drives our behavior and thinking, and from which our ego or self-identity is literally built, cuts us off from sensing Him, because He is love. Love, that is agape, and fear cannot coexist in the same space. Fear or panic, which is really a better descriptive term for this, is a physical, neurological survival response which focuses only on what the brain thinks it needs to survive, either in terms of needs or dealing with threats. It has to be bypassed or neutralized before we can even begin to sense or feel Him, and the love that He is with us and around us. Our own brains, when we are engaged with and functioning from our own malfunctioning minds, are what plunge us into the darkness and make us stumble around blindly, even if His light is shining full blast around us. A man who shuts his own eyes and cannot see the light, and a man who shuts his own ears cannot hear the music. Or perhaps another way of looking at it is that there are documented cases where, when there has been a deep psychological trauma, the brain will literally shut down all processing for the part of the body associated with that trauma in order to protect the psyche. One such case is when a woman walked in on her husband having sex with someone else, and she was immediately stricken blind. There was nothing physically wrong with her eyes. Her brain had just shut down the visual processing center so she couldn't see. For whatever reason, believing it to be a trauma which the psyche can't handle, the malfunction within the human brain shuts down our ability to naturally sense and process God's presence around us, much like that woman's brain shut down her visual processing region. As a result, our ability to sense Him is spotty and imperfect in the best of circumstances. It has much to do with our own submission to and cooperation with the Spirit of Christ. And the more entrenched we are within that panic, within functioning from our own malfunctioning ego, the harder it becomes and the more entrenched the darkness we experience. What we always have to keep in mind is that as dark and silent as it appears to be, as it appears to we who are blind and deaf, He is still always right here, right now, where each one of us is individually. He is always right here and right now. That does not and cannot change, regardless of what our brains are telling us. It is hard, very hard to believe that something is there when our brains are refusing to process its existence. But that does not make its presence any less real. And it does not make His presence and His love any less real either.